This is how you know when things are about to get serious, when you have different law firms beginning to speak on DLT technology, on crypto. This feels very similar to when Harvard Law was speaking on DLT and how DLT was going to defeat the SEC. And we've seen that happen. Now, this is not Harvard Law. This is coming from the National Law Review. OK, they have an article titled "Future of Digital Assets in the United States Bright Again." So they're confirming it. So we've gotten confirmation that this golden age, that this massive opportunity is coming some point in the future. It's not happening now. So even though, like I said, things are great now, there's something major in the future coming. So we've had multiples of individuals first of all, I've been saying this for a long time. This is what I believed, that there's a golden age coming, that the door is opening. But we've had multiple of individuals over the last 3 days. Can you tell me why that is? Why not 2 weeks from now? Why not 2 months ago? But in the last 3 days, all of these big individuals coming out and letting people know in different ways with different verbiage that there's a barricade about to be removed, that the door is opening. That's what Coinbase representative said, that the golden age pretty much is right there in the future, which once again equates to what? When it comes to utility coins, and they've been all the rage. That's what everybody's been talking about. All right. They're talking about XRP, whether it's positive or negative. They're talking about Solana, positive or negative. It's almost unavoidable at this point for them to talk about when you're in the technological industry. If you're talking about AI, then at some point you're going to talk about it in combination with DLT, especially when it comes to the financial industry. And if you read a lot of the articles over the last 2 weeks, we've seen a bevy of articles come out where the banks are once again talking about what they need in technology and this combination happening between DLT technology and AI. OK, but I'm going to read this to you. Listen to this and you tell me what they're trying to say. It begins. Well, it doesn't begin here, but we're going to begin here. It says the long awaited paradigm shift in regulation for digital assets is here, and the market likes what it sees, with Bitcoin now trading near an all-time high and the total market capitalization of digital assets topping the $3 trillion mark. Projects are once again being funded. It says being funded in, and development teams are returning to the United States. There's a huge moment on the horizon. There's a reason for this. If they're bringing all the teams back, first of all, let's just establish there's a lot of brilliant minds already here. On the ground, boots on the ground, ready to work. They have been working, but they're bringing more and more back. They're bringing the best of the best that have been planting seeds globally. They're bringing them back to the U.S. Why? Because they're about to run wild. They're about to be allowed for the first time to dominate. You see, folks, there's a difference between if you have a scientist and you handcuff that scientist in their laboratory, you handcuff them, they can't use all their tools is what I mean. You limit them. Well, there's only so much they can do. But when you unleash that scientist, you unlock those manacles, then you're really going to see what the scientists can do. That's when you can behold many wonders. And that's what's about to happen with crypto. I don't know. That's just how I visualized it. So I gave you the visualization that was just on my mind. OK, that's how it looks to me. We're about to get to play with all the different elements, and there's going to be absolutely nothing stopping absolute domination for these utility coins, for these bank coins. Once again, let's go back to focus on XRP. That's why they're talking about XRP so much. OK, there's a lot going on, a lot of rumors behind the scenes, a lot of phone calls being made. Everybody knows this. All right. Who's in the know? Everybody knows this. You just can't speak about a lot of it because, I mean, how can you verify it if you don't work for Ripple? You don't know anybody at Ripple. Some people probably do know some people at Ripple. I don't. But there's almost no way to verify what's going on. But we hear things. We're being told things. We're being sent things, constantly flooded with information. And I have to say, it looks like something big is cooking up. I could be completely wrong. Maybe all that stuff that we hear behind the scenes is nonsense, poppycock, balderdash. I like those words, by the way. I like them a lot. But that's why I try to use them every once in a while. But something big is cooking up. And these and notice how, pay attention. I want to pay attention to how they're always talking about XRP and Solana. XRP Solana XRP. There is a reason for that. There's huge interest in those two. All right. Building up and building and building. It's getting more visible. See, it's one thing to talk about it over the years and have very little evidence. And, we're trying to collect evidence as researchers, but now it's coming out. So now you have National Law Review telling everybody pretty much, and I'm paraphrasing, the door's opening, the golden age is coming. Remember, they said future of digital assets. They didn't say today, the present, future, which would mean what? A flood of capital is coming. It's inevitable. Every day we're uncovering more and more evidence. So now we're going to go here. Let's go to this next article, okay? This next article is very potent. We have back-to-back potent articles again today. This one is titled, speaking of titles, I don't know what I'm going to title the video. It's so hard to title videos. Like I said, it's like from my experience as a YouTuber, you're battling the algorithm more than you are trying to bring the eyes of the people in. So the people are willing to watch. The algorithm just might not show people your video. YouTube made it clear they want titles that are eye-catching. It's like, how do you come up with an eye-catching title every day? You know what I mean? Or every other day. That's one. And number two, somebody might say, well, you don't have to release a video every day. But that algorithm says if you release a video, then what happens is YouTube will take the views you get on that video and they'll increase it by a little bit the next day. So if you keep that consistent, the eyes that they're going to put your video in front of, it increases slightly over time. That's like free advertising. So when you don't do that, it obviously, I would think logically works in the reverse way. So this is why a lot of people they just keep on just churning out the work as much as they possibly can. So there's that, right? So anyway, just little information. So I just read that about the title and I was just like, yeah, title. I'm going to be battling with that later. So anyway, so if you're going to be a YouTuber, maybe that might help you a little bit information right there. So this article is titled Ripple Secures Money Transmitter Licenses in New York and Texas Amid Growing U.S. Footprint. They're getting ready. Everything's happening so fast right now. The buildup is happening. And this is why I sort of understand why it's almost unbelievable to some people what is to come. I get it. I understand that. And I really don't require people to believe anything. Honestly, I'm just here to put that research on the table and I just walk away. What you do with it's up to you. But there's a huge moment coming, 100%. It says Ripple, first bullet point, Ripple has secured money transmitter licenses in New York and Texas. That's huge right there, Texas, because they do a lot of things with tokenization of gold in various ways. And if they're bold enough to do that, I think that at some point, because all of these different hurdles and barriers are going to be removed, I think you're going to see a lot of things possibly happen in places like Texas where tokenization takes off first there. They're more willing to take that risk. You get what I'm saying? It says, and Texas amid its expanding U.S. domestic footprint, which makes perfect sense. Number one, you want to have that in New York because New York is a tough place to tackle when it comes to regulation. So if you can win there, you can pretty much win anywhere. That makes sense? And then, of course, once again, Texas, because they're bold. And if you're ready to put anything new out, Texas is more than likely willing to give you a chance. That's my humble thoughts on that. So now, second bullet point, it says industry players across the U.S. are enthusiastic about what the next 4 years have in store as a progressive crypto administration takes office. The firm said, OK, listen, what's going to be interesting is this. What I will watch is this. What do the crypto companies do? Now is the time where they're going to have to show out. We know Ripple works hard. We know Chainlink works hard. I'm trying to think who else to put in there that just puts in that crazy amount of work. Hedera also is there. I'm talking about like they get things done. They don't just talk. OK, so all the others are going to have to show us now that there's no more excuses. Remember that. No more excuses. No reason to have to push things off. They've had enough time to develop. Now we're talking about partnerships. OK, you're in the U.S. Barriers are removed. How many partnerships are you bringing in per year? And yes, you do owe it to the people who invested in you. In my humble opinion, yes, you do. You owe them to work hard. to know that they're invested in technology. A lot of people like the technology. They believe in the utility of these different projects. So now what's left is, how hard are these companies going to work? And we're going to see a lot over this next year or two. I'm telling you. And that's going to bring huge shifts in capital, 100%. These people are going to be watching like, wait, there's no excuse, no reason you can't bring in partnerships. If certain companies don't start unleashing like announcements on partnerships over the next year or two, I guarantee you're going to see a lot of people start to shift their money, reallocate their money to elsewhere, as far as being long term. So this is about to be a do or die moment. But here's the thing. For those utility coin companies that, sorry about that. My father used to get on me about that. Mick, don't say all the time. That's been a thing for me, right? He used to get on me about that. So they're going to have to show and not just tell. That's going to be very, very important so for those who do put in the work, who are building and innovating, they're advancing their technologies. One, that's going to be great because people are going to definitely turn an eye towards them and put more capital into them. Two, there's going to be there should be an explosion in media coverage. That's another thing. There was a third thing, but I can't remember what it was. It's going to be a game-changing environment, but they will thrive. The ones who actually do their jobs. They're making partnerships. They're working hard. They're advancing the technology. That's where the people are going to want to go, not financial advice. They are the ones who are going to win. Okay. And then once they're bringing in more capital, they can allocate that capital to make even more advancements, to make even bigger pushes, maybe even a little bit more advertising. We saw like 2-3 years ago, we saw companies like Algorand and Ripple. They pushed a little bit with their advertising. I think Hedera did also. But they could go much, much further now, and it's going to benefit much more now that, one, the regulatory environment allegedly is going to be better. Two, the people are going to be more open to utilization of the technology. Remember, it's the people, the power is with the people. You, me, the people around the world on the ground, salt of the earth, right? The power's with the people. So, but don't get me wrong, we want to take the bank money, but right now we're talking about mass adoption. And make no mistake about it. The companies that are catching the eye the most, and their names, the company names are on the tips of those people's tongues around the world. Those are going to be catching the eye of the big money. The banks also, they're going to take a look. When they take a look and they see, hey, well, first of all, I think most banks know about Ripple and XRP. I just want to make that clear. I firmly believe that. But other utility coins, maybe not so much. But those banks are going to look into them and say, well, why are these people talking about them so much? Why are these other companies, whether they're small businesses, medium size, why are they looking into this? And when those bigger asset managers and banks look into this, credit unions also, let me not forget the credit unions. We read an article where they're going to apparently be getting heavily involved. That they're going to look into it, see the technology and say, whoa, wait a minute, can we use this? And their research teams and their analysts are going to say, yeah, we could use it. Well, how much does it cost? They're going to say, well, it's very cheap. Of course, they're going to have an actual number on it. They'll have spoken to these different companies. This is going to be a new age. I said this, we were in early. I don't think we're still sort of early, but it's like early-ish. It's not as early as it once was, because a lot of these things I do believe are going to skyrocket, just like Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin is going to skyrocket. But so now let's go here. OK, let's go here. I'm trying to say, I don't know how long this video is now. I have no clue. Now, I'm hoping it's not too long. I want to just touch on this one lightly here. There's a lot of excitement over this. I see a lot of articles on this. U.S. strategic reserve to promote U.S. based coins like XRP. Do I believe that this is the purpose that they're going to allow this to serve, as opposed to just trying to make a lot of capital off of these things, right? That's the opposite way. They don't care about promoting these things. They just want to run that price up and liquidate, right? That's definitely possible. I do believe this. I believe that they could use it to promote U.S. based coins. And they'll use it to their benefit as well. That capital, these prices could explode dramatically. Doesn't mean they're going to, but I believe that they will. Not financial advice. Make up your own mind on that, okay? Now, why do I believe this? Because I always believed that if the U.S. wants to be at the forefront, they have to have a huge hand in a lot of these neutral platforms. They do. They have to keep a good connection. You know why? They have to keep a good connection with them. And the way they build that connection is through promotion. Hey, let's promote this chain here so they stay with us. Why? Because the US, they found out very quickly not every company can be bullied when it comes to, let's say, like Ripple, for example. Now they're finding out with Coinbase, and a lot of these companies have fought back. They found out DLT is not easily bullied. What happened? When the regulators were pressing Ripple and such, they just left. They just stopped most of their activities in the US and just started building around the rest of the world. That gave the rest of the world a heck of a chance to catch up, right? And the US wants to dominate, right? So they have to stay in the game, right? And they have to keep a close relationship with these companies so that they can benefit from the technology, because they don't want to build it themselves. They want the private sector to do everything. Let's just be honest here. So yes, I think there's some give and take there. They promote the chains, and the chains the chains remain in the US so the US can play their part. Now, I'll say this. I don't believe any of these countries is ever going to be as dominant as they once were. I don't think so at all. I don't care which one it is. I'm just being honest with you, folks. Times have changed. And here's the thing. The legacy system companies and the governments around the world were so intertwined. They pretty much were inseparable. The DLT companies, which were outcasted and ostracized, they don't feel that way. They've been through some things right now and saw like, oh, that's how you want to treat us. They're more apt to stay neutral. And I think, once again, I want to say, I think they see that they can maintain they can gain real power by being neutral, right? They can take a huge chunk of power from China, but they can share in that power from China, share in that power from the US. They can share in that power from Europe, UK, Australia, Latin America. They have so much reach. It's unfathomable. There's no way. I mean, I just don't see anyone being reasonable and giving that type of position up. No way. No way. It's just too much power. I mean, listen, you may think different. I know a lot of people have told me their thoughts, and they're definitely different than mine. I can respect that. I'm not trying to go against their thoughts. I just state my own thoughts powerfully, and is what it is. And hopefully my thoughts are respected like I respect other people's. But people have let me know that they think differently. That's perfectly fine. But there's no way. They have an opportunity to be almost an untouchable entity. Oh, if the U.S. wants to act up, okay, we leave the U.S. again. You see how that works? Then they go work with the U.K., Europe, China, Australia, Latin America. The world is their oyster, and they've seen it. Like, they've already laid the foundations for that. So I think the U.S. knows that, and they're like, whoa, wait a minute. We need to keep them here. We need to work with them. They're the best of the best. So I do think that they could use it. I think that's part of what they're going to do. Other than that, I don't see any reason to do this. They can make money in a ton of different ways. They definitely could. And as far as technology, they're going to be given the same type of skeleton technology that everybody else is given, in my humble opinion, where they don't have the golden key. They're going to need these bank coin companies for interoperability. They're going to need these bank coin companies for global reach, for a neutral platform, because nobody's going to want to use Swift. They're already trying to get rid of Swift. I said this many, many times, and it's going to be true and truer every single time I say it. So they'll never get the golden key because these companies are not dumb. They're not. They're very brilliant. Although I remember people telling me like, oh, Mick, no, they're working with them. The government's going to take everything from them. But why would they give them everything? I mean, sure, you could err on the side of believing that these companies are just that foolish, but I don't think so. Does it look like they did that? No. If they did, they would have caught up. If they did, everybody be using Fed now. They're not. If they, excuse me, sorry about that. If they did, everyone will be using one of these legacy system offerings, but a lot of them been closing down. They failed because they didn't have the golden key. They don't have that positioning. Everything has its cycles. Their cycle is over. Change is the only constant, folks. Nothing remains the same. Nothing. Change is the only constant. If that's the case, we should be looking for change in everything that is. And when I'm looking at this, I can see the change is happening. All right, so now let's see. We have a little bit of Bitcoin because now I'm afraid if this video gets a little too long because I really don't like chopping up videos. I really don't. I've had to do it recently because, you know, if I cough or something like that, you know, have to wipe my nose, then you'll see the chops. But other than that, when I'm completely healthy, you don't see any real cuts. It's just I might just start at the beginning, just talking and just carry it on from there. That's the best way possible. Less work to do. So now, oh, look at this. A little bit of Bitcoin news. Poland overtakes El Salvador in global Bitcoin ATM accounts. ATM counts. I said ATM accounts. ATM count. My apologies, folks. Poland surpasses El Salvador to become the 5th largest Bitcoin ATM hub globally, recording 219 active machines amid a 4-month installation spree. Woo, they knew. I'm telling people, they know these nations, these companies, they know something. They knew something was coming. They know something's coming. They're preparing. The change is here. I just get passionate about it sometimes. I'm well in control of my emotions. I just get passionate about it. You couldn't imagine how many people go against me. Right? Like, no, Mick, no, that's not happening, Mick. This is not that way. I was like, it fills you with a passion at times to see that you're correct, right? I mean, not that me being correct affects anybody else, but it's just for my own knowing and knowledge, like, you know. So anyway, Poland added 10 new Bitcoin ATMs on January 27th. Oh, in one day, bringing its total to 219 active machines, surpassing El Salvador as the 5th largest cryptocurrency ATM network globally after the US, Canada, Australia, and Spain. Poland added 24 crypto ATMs in its ongoing 4-month-long installation spree that began in October 2024. All right, and I want to cover this last little bit here in case the video is getting too long. Now, this article is titled Rich Dad, Poor Dad, author, of course, Robert Kiyosaki. I haven't heard from him in a while, so this is going to be interesting. Bitcoin will bloom as buggiest crash is coming. He's saying in February. What's the catalyst? He says Kiyosaki. Sorry about that. I had to look for the little thing here. I couldn't find the cursor piece. Kiyosaki referred to this upcoming crash as, quote, good news, unquote, since, quote, in a crash, everything goes on sale. I was just saying this the other day. I'm telling you, I feel like they're going to do this on purpose. I don't know the catalyst they're going to use as a smoke screen, because that's what I feel it's going to be. Because right now, Bitcoin's so bullish, it could consolidate or just keep going up. I just don't, there's no real powerful reason it has to go down, but they could use something to make it go down for sure. And they can coordinate that really if they want to. Some nations have some Bitcoin to sell. They could do that. The whole Silk Road thing, there's still more of that, right? They could do that. But they'll use it in order to buy more at a low price because now they have confirmed Bitcoin is super bullish. They've confirmed it's going to go much higher, probably way higher than $150,000 that I've been talking about. So now that they're sure of that, they want to buy more. That's how things typically work from what I've seen. Okay, we're all different. That's what I'm saying. Quote, in a crash, everything goes on sale, unquote. He added that the prices of homes and automobiles have already dropped significantly. Quote, cars and houses on sale now, unquote. Okay, but I'm glad he said that. I'm looking at that in a different way. People see more and more people are going to invest in Bitcoin because they want to buy. There's a lot of people out there. They're young people, right? And they're getting some Bitcoin. And these young people are just building lives. All right. They want new cars. They want a house or two. And they're going to buy some Bitcoin. It's going to skyrocket. I believe it's going to skyrocket. They're going to liquidate that. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of volatility and they're going to buy new cars, probably very nice ones. Young folks like these very, very exotic cars. They do. I can't even tell you how many times I'm seeing Lambos driving around and Lamborghini, and they love this Lamborghini truck, which I do not like the Lamborghini truck. I don't. But I just don't. It doesn't look good to me. I don't care if they put Lamborghini name on it. What does a name mean to me? It means nothing. But I'm different. I'm not a materialist at all. But they want that. They want the big house, right? They want that. They're not thinking about the property taxes, but I'm just saying they're not thinking about that. You know, young folks though, they just say house and they want it's big and they want it. Right? He's like, well, that property tax. So yes, I think that's going to be a driving force. Of course, that's not the incentive for big companies. Of course not. Theirs is to make a lot of money, and they're going to do that. But it's not just with Bitcoin. It's with others like XRP, Chainlink, Solana. This is why you continue to see Sentiment and these other companies expose how these large purchases are being made quietly and anonymously. It says here, the financial expert is certain that investors will begin withdrawing billions of dollars from the stock and bond markets and putting them into Bitcoin. Wait a minute. Stop. Mr. Kiyosaki, don't forget. Now, yes, they could do that. They definitely could do that. There's about to be some crazy money made in crypto just between you and me. That's what I believe. Okay. Not financial advice, not even to you, Mr. Kiyosaki. But don't forget the cash pile on the side. How does everyone forget that? It's just sitting there. It's just, what is it waiting on? When it starts to move, if it moves into crypto, kaboom. That's it. It's simple as that. Monitor the cash pile on the side. When it starts to move majorly, it could be a huge indicator crypto is about to go boom. It could be. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.